A global montage of disability rights protests. People in wheelchairs and others hold signs in multiple languages, speak into microphones and gather in large crowds. Some confront police, while others brave rain, calling for equity and systemic change.
A small crowd took to Parliament's lawn today to protest the changes.
In Seoul, there's a battle happening at rush hour.
Just tell us the challenges that you face in the society.
The province's decision not to pass along the new Canada disability benefit to AISH recipients.
The goal was to raise awareness and empower individuals.
Personal disability is always the most attacked.
Nearly 300 people gathered at the State House campus.
Text overlay on a black screen. When you stay silent, nothing will change. Research participant 8. Robbie Frances Watene, a disabled woman from New Zealand with dark hair in a bun, sits at a wooden table and opens a laptop covered in stickers, including one that reads, "Disabled Defiant." Watene has a prosthetic leg with a floral design. She gently pets a large grey and white dog resting beside her under the desk.
My name is Robbie Frances Watene. I wear many hats. I am a mum.
Watene sits on a bed and puts on her prosthetic leg as her child and dog watch.
An activist.
Watene sits on the ground at a protest. She holds a baby on her lap, and her other child is in front of her. She holds a sign that says, "Nothing without us. Rights, not charity."
I'm a white disabled woman with an education.
Framed academic degrees hang on a white wall.
And it's with these privileges comes, I guess, a responsibility to speak up when it's not safe for others to do so.
The screen shows the United Nations website page titled Article 33 National Implementation and Monitoring.
Article 33.3 of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities says that disabled people must be involved in monitoring their government's implementation of the convention as well as disability rights.
A screenshot of an announcement from World Institute on Disability introduces global human fellows, including Watene. Watene types on her laptop.
In 2024, I was awarded an inaugural Global Human Fellowship from the World Institute on Disability.
A laptop screen shows a World Institute on Disability webpage titled Meet Robbie Frances Watene, PhD.
And my research is looking at different international approaches to Article 33.3 and more specifically disabled people's leadership in monitoring.
Watene appears in a series of in-person and video call interviews, sometimes holding a baby, sometimes joined by a sign language interpreter. She speaks with disabled individuals from around the world in varied settings.
Over the past year, I've interviewed 16 disabled people and allies, 11 countries, and 4 continents. Now, nearly all of the participants shared that they're facing some pretty big challenges when it comes to monitoring disability rights and holding their governments to account.
In a split-screen video call, Msafiri Ngololo, a Tanzanian man, speaks on the top left of the screen. Watene listens on the bottom right. Subtitle overlay. The article is just there in the cabinet gathering dust. It is just a document. We're good at talking about it. But when we come to action, it is dumped there.
The article is just there in the cabinet gathering dust. It is just a document. We are good in talking about it, but when we come to action, it is dumped there.
This is mainly due to limited resources, limited funding, a lack of education, and also a bit of gatekeeping over who gets invited to sit at the monitoring table, if there is one.
In a split-screen video call, Peter Kayenga, a Ugandan man, speaks on the left, and Watene listens on the right. Watene appears in a series of video interview calls with participants.
So we are not a priority in the government.
Some participants said that their reliance on government funding and relationships meant that, unfortunately, monitoring could be risky.
Peter Kayanga from Uganda speaks to Watene on Zoom.
You must be in line with the government thinking. If you are not in line with the government thinking, it will be hard for you, for your organization.
In a split-screen video call, Adnan Al-Abodi, a Jordanian man in a grey beanie, speaks on the left, and Watene listens on the right.
Some of them, they want just to be like nice with the government.
Right.
Because they don't want to lose the power or losing sometimes the funding or losing their position or something like that.
Whether it was a subtle threat to employment or livelihood, a reduction in funding, or even the cancellation of a DPO's registration.
Heumann Hickey, a Maori New Zealander woman in a wheelchair with facial tattoos known as moko koi, speaks to camera.
I worry about the monitoring. The government should not be allowed to muzzle the voice of a disability mechanism, which is supposed to be our voice, because it needs to be heard.
Even though the risks were notable, the challenges wide-ranging, participants were still adamant that disabled person-led monitoring is crucial.
Adnan Al-Abodi from Jordan speaks to Watene on Zoom.
The Article 33, it is the soul of the convention. If we don't have monitoring mechanism, we'll have word in the paper, nothing else. Because we need body to monitor the government to see if how they implementing the convention, if they do it right or do it wrong.
In a split-screen video call, Gerard Quinn, an Irishman with grey hair and glasses, is on the left, and Watene is on the right in a car.
What would be your hopes and aspirations for disability leadership and monitoring processes?
It's really all about your capacity to give voice and to crystallize the essential claims of the community.
In a split-screen video call, Nazma Ara Begum Poppy, a Bangladeshi woman, speaks with her camera off on the left, and Watene is on the right.
We need a collective voice, strong voice.
Watene sits at a desk, looking at a laptop screen showing the video call. In a split-screen video call, Monica Leach, a deaf New Zealander woman, signs in the bottom screen, while a sign language interpreter verbally interprets in a blurred-out square on top left. Watene is on the top right.
We need to get together from the grassroots of the community. It's about communication and connection as people.
Heumann Hickey, the Maori woman in a wheelchair, speaks to camera.
It has to be independent, because it has to be able to do the hard thing, which is critique government.
In a split-screen video call, Pratima Gurung, a Nepali woman, speaks on the left, and Watene listens on the right.
And the state has the obligation to build the capacity of those people to be on the table.
In a split-screen video call, Shane McEnroe, a New Zealander, speaks on the left, and Watene listens on the right.
I believe, and you believe, the community's moved on from advisory groups and government. We're past that. Time to move on. We want to be at the highest level of the highest level.
Watene holds a smartphone showing headlines from the news, including, "What does President Trump's DEI rollback mean for disability inclusion?" and, quote, "An awful year of cuts and heartbreak for disabled community," and "Disability community's nervous wait for the Heumann X blow." Watene stands in a large, empty United Nations conference room, facing the back wall with a large UN logo.
And as we navigate global cuts to disability funding and the dismantling of diversity, inclusion and equity, we cannot afford to lose our grip on the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities or the intent of Article 33.3. Because it's now more than ever, we need courageous, disabled human rights monitors speaking truth to power.
A person kneels on a paved area, holding a rainbow flag protest sign that reads, "System change. Nothing about us without us."
What kind of power? People power. Who's got the power? We've got the power. What kind of power? People power.
Text appears on a black screen, a collaboration between the World Institute on Disability and the Disability Justice Project, with support from the Donald Beasley Institute. Below that is the World Institute on Disabilities logo. At the center of the logo is a dark maroon circle with the bold white letters WID, placed over a stylized blue globe. The words Global Human Fellowship circle the logo.
Who's got the power? We've got the power. What kind of power? People power.
Text appears on a black screen. Thank you to the research participants and allies for speaking your truth to power. Words from the protest repeat on screen. Who's got the power? We've got the power. What kind of power? People power.